I was going for a certain body type. I don't want to be healthy. I want to look fit. I've always been into gym, and to do that, there are certain things that I know are healthy for me, but I won't eat. Like, for example, I used to have porridge oats in the morning every morning. What if you keep doing that? You'll gain weight. Hello, and welcome to another episode of Bold and Brown.
Yes, my name is Rupa.
My name is Vinay, and as always, please like, share, subscribe. You haven't heard the podcast yet, but do all those things first, and then we will continue.
We are actually talking about one of Vinay's favourite topics today, so he's totally going to be in the zone. Hope you get in the zone as well.
Absolutely. It's about health, wealth, and happiness. Should call it that, really.
Yeah.
But what comes first is, the first H is health. Well,
Yep.
First H. Health, wealth, and happiness, HWC. Health, wealth, and happiness.
HWH?
HWH, sorry. I remember this from Bob Proctor. I remember he met one of his mentors. What's his name? I think it was Ray something.
Ray Stanford.
Ray Stanford, that's it. And he wrote down on a piece of paper, health, wealth, and happiness. And he goes, in all these three areas, what's happening? And basically Bob Proctor goes, I'm struggling in all three. But it's in that order, actually. I think that no one's going to dispute that. Without any health, your wealth or happiness, well, it's hard to be happy when you're not healthy.
Yeah.
You can try to be grateful as much as you can, but health really does come first. And I think it's something which is very overlooked, very much taken for granted.
Yeah.
But as the older you get, it has to be the centre of your focus, really and truly.
Yeah, I think there's two things. Number one, people are a little bit more health aware, I would say, in terms of what kind of food they're eating. And we have amazing apps like Yuka, which we'll go into in a little bit later. But I think even myself, I have become more conscious because of all the chemicals, the things that they put in food and how food's produced. And if you look about, 100 years plus ago, 150 years ago, they had very basic food. But also, there weren't all these diseases and illnesses and, cancers like left, right and centre. So definitely something has changed. And then you've probably got those people who are like, it's okay, we lived through so many generations, it's fine, whatever we eat, doesn't matter, what's going to happen is going to happen. But we can also prevent a lot of stuff that has been man-made from actually affecting us. And I think that's important.
So, there's a difference. And my good Italian friend, PT, mentor PT, he said to me, there's a difference between being healthy and fit. Now, he said to me, you've pretty much been healthy your whole life. I'm a vegetarian, so a lot of things we, don't eat, which helps us keep healthy. And unfortunately, it works the other way as well. Because we're vegetarian, we miss out on a lot of other things like protein and animal protein or high quality protein. Yes, we unfortunately do miss out on that. We don't miss out on it fully or completely, no. There's really good alternatives out there. I think a vegetarian diet gives you as much as a meat diet, obviously not as much as protein, of course. That goes without saying. However, being fit and being healthy are two different things. People can look fit but not be healthy.
Yeah.
People can be healthy and not look fit.
Yeah.
Which it sounds about the Indian race altogether. So, I remember he said to me, you got to stop doing a lot of things that you think are healthy because they're not making you look fit. And sometimes being fit comes sometimes at the cost of being healthy. And it's all about finding that balance. But health is something which we all need it. And it's something which, people think they know what they're doing as well. That's the scary part of it, because they've been doing it from years, their family, or this is the way forward, and this is how it is. But like Rupa said, a lot of things are processed, man-made stuff, and a lot of things are, we live in a different almost world as well. We live in this electromagnetic chaos world with all kinds of new energy and products, and the pollution and different things happening. We really have to look after our health, and there's different ways of doing it. I would suggest first and foremost is find someone who has what it is that you want, and follow them. I had a personal trainer for years, and that's what I did.
Exactly. And health ties into a lot of stuff. It's not only food. As Vinay said, it's radiation, it's energy. I mean, the other day we were on YouTube with our kids, and we were listening to what is feng shui. How can you feng shui your house? And again, that is also health. It comes down to energy. It comes down to frequencies and, things around the house which you can move around, which flows the energy the right way. And that is all actually health related. I know, as I said, a lot of people are more conscious of it now, but it's what do you do and where do you go, to improve these elements of your life, which is the most important element, really.
So let's talk about, how to be healthy. Obviously, it all comes down to food. The main and the foremost is food. I remember my mum said to me, every disease starts from your stomach almost. Every kind of cancer or issues, it starts from the stomach. So we have to look after what we're putting into our bodies. And, I love, a personal mentor of ours is Kevin Trudeau. He wrote a very powerful he spoke on a very powerful audio called How to Lose 30 Pounds in 30 Days. We have a printout where Rupert's pressing now on of the 30 things you should do to live a clean, healthy life. He wrote a book as well, Natural Cures They Don't Want You to Know. I've got it upstairs. And he says that eating food as closest to nature intended. I think that's just sums it up there, isn't it, really and truly?
Yeah, absolutely. And, it's not like an overnight thing. It's really a process getting into the whole positive health regime. Like, what Vinay was talking about, the 30 things, he's literally printed it out and put it all over the house.
As we speak, I can see it.
Like, it's in our study, which, predominantly it should be, right? It's on our kitchen fridge. It's on our cabinets. It's in the bathroom. Like, my son Kiki, he's sitting on the toilet sometimes, and I'm like, Kiki, who are you talking to? He's like, Mummy, I'm just reading the piece of paper. And it's in front of him, and he's sitting on the toilet. He's reading. And these are all little changes that's going to affect the family as a whole. So sometimes, I say he's such an extremist. In fact, he is an extremist. But in certain areas, you have to be.
And look, and everyone's body is different. Like, for example, Rupa, Gujarati diet is, if you look at Gujaratis in general, very thin, very healthy. They don't have really much disease or cancer in their community. But Punjabis are opposite. You look at most Punjabis on average, a bit chubby, a bit overweight, have lots of disease or cancer. You hear of cancer horror stories, unfortunate sad stories in the community quite a lot. And there's a reason for it, is because the food that we choose to put into our bodies. And, like I said, it's really important that we do, I was going for a certain body type. I don't want to be healthy. I want to look fit. I've always been into gym, and to do that, there are certain things that I know are healthy for me, but I won't eat. Like, for example, I used to have porridge oats in the morning every morning. Well, if you keep doing that, you'll gain weight. And yes, porridge is really good for you. And yet I do have porridge now, but I don't have it every day. I have it maybe 2, maybe maximum 3 times a week, and it's a small amount. But I used to have a big bowl every day full of nuts. And oh my God, I used to rant off all the nuts. I used to have pumpkin seeds, sesame seeds, pine seeds, almond nuts. And they're all good for you. But did you know you also get chubby like that? So I had to, my Italian friend, he was like, get rid of all of that. And I was like, what? Where am I going to get my strength if I'm vegetarian? And we wake up, have a double espresso. And I was like, well, that's even bad for you as well to some degree, having a double espresso. But you wanted to kickstart my metabolism. Then you'd say, have, some milk with coffee in it, or have a protein shake as soon as you wake up. And then I have to adjust, obviously, because protein shake has its own separate issues. It's processed as well. It's ultra processed. So, finding someone who, if you've got a goal and it's an extreme goal, find someone who knows who has got what you want, and listen to them. And I can guarantee it's going to start with diet. What do you choose to put in your body? Are you hydrated? Are you, Rupa and I, we just did, with my mum as well, we just did a breathing technique called pranayama. For those in the Eastern culture will know breathing techniques, which really help. What does your body really need? Food, obviously good clean food, but it needs air, it needs water. We circulate air. Yeah. So that's a good practice that we do as well.
Exactly. And I think first and foremost, it's important for you to identify what your need is when it comes to health. Is it that you want to lose weight? Is it that you want to get into shape? Is it that you feel like you're lacking something, i.e., you've got a lot of fatigue, you're always tired, like you know you're low on something, but you don't know what you're low on, and so you're just eating food or eating certain things thinking that it will get better? Take a shortcut. The shortcut is go and get a full body MOT done. Go and get a full body check done. So you're not playing guessing games and going to the, pharmacy and taking every multivitamin tablet there is on the shelf. Like, you don't necessarily need everything. You might need more of one thing than another. So I think a full body check will really help you to kind of just break that down and give your body the extra stuff that it needs, and maybe take away the excessive things that you are putting in there. And so, we've been doing this quite recently, and honestly, I was a little bit skeptical at first, I'm going to admit. I was like, okay, well, they're just attaching wires to you, you're holding something in your hand, it's attached to a computer, like, I don't know, how much can they really tell you about what's going on internally? And it blew my mind. It honestly, like, all the things that, I was feeling, that doctor was telling me, this is what you need more of, this is what you got too much, this is how you're feeling every day. Is it true you're going through these kind of emotions? Like, it's not only just about food, it's literally about all these sort of emotional, the spiritual, like energy, or like fatigue, all of that stuff, and it all plays a massive part. I loved it.
Yeah, and we've got one. I've just actually called the doctor last week. My dad said, let's all get the family checked up. We do it usually twice a year.
Yeah.
Sometimes more. If you've got something specific, then we go to him early. But, before we take any vitamins and minerals, he'll hook you up to a computer and tell you what you're deficient on.
Yeah.
I mean, sometimes there's no point taking something which you're not deficient on unnecessarily.
Exactly.
I mean, that can cause sometimes other issues because you're taking too much of something. So, doing a full body check, and we got one done in India as well once, a good couple of years ago. It's much cheaper out there as well, and it tells you everything from your hormone levels to any kind of issues or and mental well-being as well.
Yeah, I remember when we went for that check in India, like, because again, you're thinking, well, is it just generic? Are they going to kind of tell Indians all the same similar stuff because of our diets and stuff? And they pointed out to Vinny, like, you're eating a lot of very, like, processed foods. And I remember then, because we thought, okay, well, we're not meat eaters. Well, let's just, fill our freezer with like all the mock stuff and, the soya and like all the sort of fake meat, kind of things. And we were like, okay, well, this should be good for us. But that even came out on the test and they were like, no, it's too much. So then we had to cut back on that. So it's really, really informative. It's so worth doing.
And then they said me, you need to go gym. And I was like, I go gym all the time. But I didn't do cardio.
Yeah, that's right.
So now I do cardio.
Yeah.
I don't like cardio. I don't believe in cardio actually, but I do badminton.
It's good for your heart. Yeah, any kind of cardio that keeps your heart pumping.
Yeah, badminton and other things like walking. I like to try to go for walks. I park my car a little bit further out to have that little walk when I'm going to like a place of business or gym or other places. Trying to walk as much as I can and. Intermittent fasting is what I'm doing at the moment. I've been doing it for, it's coming up to almost a year now. It feels so good. I don't do it all the time because if you look at one of the 30 things to do, one of them is you can cheat whenever you want. You can have a cheat meal. And you never feel bad about it, which I love. You can't restrain yourself either and just think, right, I'm going to eat healthy. No, there'll be times I'll have that, that ice cream. I'll have that chocolates that I love to have chocolates, and we'll have the Biscoff milkshakes that we love to have. It is about keeping some kind of balance. I don't believe in cheat days. I believe in like a cheat meal, but then I'll recover with the other meals. And then there'll be certain ththings that we just do religiously now, which our last meal is around 6 o'clock. We just do that now without even trying. We eat with the kids. When we wake up, we drink water first thing. Throughout the day we'll drink, I don't know if you can see that bottle on the right side. We should have at least 2 or 3 of those. Put salt in it, for hydration. We take vitamins every single day. Sometimes we have a break for a month, but we do things now we don't even think about it because it's becomes part of your everyday routine. And that's the secret. It's making, it's not about dieting will last us for a little while. And anything which I love, which we've been taught, anything you see in the supermarket which says fat-free, sugar-free, no sugar diet, low sugar, no sugar, this, that. Ignore all of those things. Any food they have to advertise, don't buy it. Any food they got to advertise on TV, don't buy it. It's probably bad for you. It's commercialized. Any food that says fat-free, they put loads of sweeteners in it to make it taste a bit better. So ignore all those things.
Yeah.
The food that are good for you, whole food and closest to nature as intended. Sweet potato, I love it. I have it every day. Avocado, sweet potato, I love it.
Absolutely. And a tip for those of you that do the shop in your house, this has actually been a game changer for me. We've downloaded an app called Yuka. Some of you may already know about it or may not know about it. And, we're not saying it's 100% accurate and, you got to take it by whatever. But, if you use the app, you will actually start to realize the general stuff that you buy every day isn't actually good for you. Like, I used to buy like cheese strings all the time for the kids. I was thinking, well, you get your calcium in there, a bit of vitamin D in there, like is cheese, protein, whatever. But there are different versions of these things and you could get a better quality version. Even Philadelphia spread, there's now a protein Philadelphia spread. We eat sourdough bread instead of like normal 50-50 bread. Like you can make so many like changes, small changes that ultimately will not only help you, but will help everyone in your household. So why wouldn't you? I've got my mum into like starting to eat sourdough bread now as well. She buys more organic stuff. And, generally with that kind of generation, sometimes it's still a little bit hard for them to make changes. Because she still wants to go places where it's like the vegetables are the cheapest and the fruit is the cheapest and stuff. But, small changes can be a huge advantage in the near future, for sure.
People sometimes only turn healthy when something goes wrong.
Yeah.
Why would you wait? Why would you wait? We had some family members who had, unfortunately, diagnosed with cancer. And all of a sudden, they've gone organic, non-processed food, healthy. Then they're doing all the things that we're trying to do now.
Yeah.
Which is go for those walks, breathe the good air, cut out as much as you can, e-smog and all the pollutants and all those things out there that we're breathing in, eating, drinking. And I'm thinking, well, why would you want to do it then? Why don't you do it now? And make it a lifestyle change so it lasts for the rest of your life. And it doesn't have to be so extreme. Diet will be extreme. But if you have a lifestyle change, it'll be a slow thing to do. And with that slowness, then your life starts to change. And what I love about it is when you change your eating habits, you start thinking clearer. It affects your thinking. And those of you who believe in law of attraction, which we seriously believe in, you start to attract things much more easy. There's less blockages. Yeah. There's free flow in your thoughts because your food is right and you're feeling healthy. And, health, wealth and happiness. And, those of you who read a book called Think and Grow Rich, and it talks about all the things. And, wealth or money is right at the bottom of the list in the beginning chapter. They say all the things. What money is right at the bottom. It's about health, probably high up there. It's about having things in abundance. And, it's about being healthy, wealthy and happy. I believe that's the best way to live. Healthy, wealthy and happy.
Yeah.
But health does come first and foremost. Without health, you have nothing. Don't wait for a disaster to start thinking about all the things that we should be doing.
Yeah.
Take action now. It can be something so small. I highly recommend you to, this audio unfortunately is pulled off YouTube a lot. 30 things or 30 days to lose 30 pounds. I've got them printed out right in front of me. Please leave a comment. We can send this out document out. I've got it in document form as well. I can send it out to you. If you want to have a look at my, short form that I've done it in. It's life-changing.
Yeah. And, some of you, your lifestyles, I guess, it plays a massive part as well. We're not, sitting here saying, oh, you got to do this, you got to do that, you got to do that. You may literally be working like 12, 15 hours a day. You don't have the time necessarily to like do certain regimes, routines. Like you've just got to do things where it fits into your lifestyle. That's really important. I remember when we started in this industry, of network marketing, home-based business, we used to be out in meetings until so late. Like our dinner would be like ridiculous time, 10 o'clock, 11 o'clock, and you could see the belly starting to hang out on these boys. Like honestly, it was not a good time to eat. So you just got to find a way to work around your routines, your lifestyle. if you read, but you got to have a why. Like, you need to have a strong reason to do it. Otherwise, you're just not going to do it. And as Vinay said, don't wait for a disaster. Don't wait for something negative to come out of a doctor's result for you to make a change. Like, do it now.
So obviously we know movement is key. It could be walking, gym. And, sometimes gym doesn't have to be the vigorous or the high straining, resistance exercise and heavy weights or like classes. It can be, I'm going to go out and I'm going to look for the next yoga class in my gym, or Tibetan gong bath, which
Yes.
I've done on a few occasions. Rupa's doing as well now.
I've booked it now. I'm excited. Again, I can be a little bit skeptical, but I'm open-minded, and I'm just waiting to see what it's going to feel like and what it's going to do for me. And I've heard so many great things about it from various people. So yeah, it's trying new things, guys. We have to explore what's out there. I mean, these people who are professionals in, yoga, vinyasa yoga and hot yoga and meditation and, Tibetan bowl and gongs and all this. They're not sound baths, these things we never used to hear of 10, 15 years ago. It just means like the economy, the atmosphere, the air, the water, everything is changing around us. And so we need to adapt to that change and just do things that is going to help us, with our health along the journey of life. So yeah, I'm excited about that.
And there's so many things out there, yes. And sometimes it can be overwhelming. Sometimes I get overwhelmed. That's why sometimes it's important to find someone who has what it is that you want. I had a personal trainer for many years. And, when I stopped with that person, then I had a good friend who I listen to when it comes to health, because he knows what to eat to make you fit. And he's just an expert in that field. I've seen his body. I want that body. So I would listen to him. And then you ignore 95% of people who would tell you otherwise. Like parents, they will say, eat roti. You'll be like, no, I'm not doing that. Because I look at, with all due respect, I look at some of the physiques of aunties and uncles, and I'm like, God, no. Please, don't want to look like that. I don't even want to be healthy anymore if you're going to look like that. I'd rather be, again, fit or healthy. I've been healthy most of my life, but I want to look fit as well. So there's certain things which may be healthy for you that I don't do because they just not going to make you fit.
Exactly.
So we're all affected by this. Health, if you haven't got your health, we all should know what happens if we don't have health. It doesn't take a genius. You can walk into a hospital, or you've got family or friends, and if they've got health issues, I remember there's a saying, you got 100 problems, that you must have 100, thousands of problems, right?
Yeah.
If you get a health problem, you've only got one problem. That's it. You've got no other problems now. You've only got one.
Exactly.
So it's really important that we look to maintain and to have a very healthy, life.
Yeah.
And the ways to do that is by the small changes. And, being around healthy people is probably one of them. Being around, they won't make decisions. When I'm around some of my friends, we're not eating that bad processed meal. We don't think about McDonald's or Burger King. Well, I don't even hang around people who go to McDonald's or Burger King. Maybe for McDonald's breakfast every now and again. But if it's a meal, I won't even be hanging around with someone who says, go for a McDonald's. I'll be like, what? Oh, I think it's an insult.
Oh my God, the other day we were in Glasgow and we ended up having dinner so late and there was nothing open, and we were like, what? It's only 9:30. Nothing's open. And, it's because of the things that we were doing throughout the day. We were starving. The only option was McDonald's, and we were like, no way. We refuse to eat there. Like, we'll just have to find something. And thank God we actually did find a really nice place to eat. But yeah, like, it's just so processed. Like, I don't know, we would probably go there after like a night out, and when you're feeling like, oh, you just need like some to fill the hole in your belly and stuff. But this is why we don't even go on nights out really much anymore, because it leads to bad food. It's just it's all habits, isn't it? Another point, this very last point that I will make also, it's health is, yes, nutrition, it's food, it's energy, but also it's well-being, it's mental. If you've got a crazy lifestyle, you're stressed, home, work, fine, whatever it is, take that time out. That is also health. Go for a spa break. Go to the gym and just, relax or do something, do a workout. Go and get something done for yourself. Treat yourself to, like, I don't know, doing your hair, just to switch off. Just to switch off from, like, mentally, all the things that stress you out on a day-to-day basis. That is also really taking care of your energy and taking care of your health.
I think that's should
Yeah.
hopefully be, well, unless,
Something.
yeah, something to take away. Hopefully something that we've shared can hopefully help. And we always look forward to your comments. Anything that you wish to say or suggest or ask, please feel free.
And we're more than happy to give recommendations of, you know, anyone you might want to see or go and visit, or, you know, for the body checks, or, you know, and blood works, you know, get your blood regularly tested as well. So important with a GP or wherever you go. So yeah, any kind of recommendations you need, we're more than happy. So
Great. Thank you very much. See you guys on the next episode.
yeah.